Hello, welcome to week 2 of quarter 4. This is our second week being back on campus. Super exciting. It was really fun getting to see everybody in person. And I know that you still might have mixed emotions about how that's going and what school's going to be like moving forward, but I do think that we're going to have a really good end of the year, and I can't wait to get started with what we're going to do this week. As a reminder, if you're watching this video, it's because you were absent on either one or both of our synchronous days. And just a precursor, I guess, you probably figured this out by now. Sometimes the version of the slides that you see in these videos isn't always the exact same version that's actually been used in class, and that's because sometimes we have to be flexible and I have to add things or change things based off of how much we were able to get through in one class period and stuff like that. So just know that if you're doing your best and communicating with me any questions you have, you will be totally fine. So this is week 2, April 20th through the 23rd. Our schedule for this week, we are going to start reading Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. We're going to read chapter 1 in class on our first synchronous day. And then the second synchronous day, we're going to look at a TED Talk called The Danger of a Single Story. And then your homework or work for your asynchronous day is to read chapter 2. So you could even, if reading it all in one sitting is a little too overwhelming for you, split it up. Read it on your first asynchronous day and then on your second and finish it. And then we have the Golden Lines and Patricia's Advice. You need to start that as soon as you start reading. And then we also have an honors option, which is a TED Talk extension assignment. And I'll show you what that is in a little bit. So, like I said, we're reading chapter 1 in class, and then out of class for your asynchronous time, you will be reading chapter 2. And you can see the page numbers. Again, the PDF does not have page numbers, but it's really easy to navigate. And if you need help with that, let me know. I also kind of give you an outline of about how long you should expect to take to read this. And this is going off of the Audible version of it, where Trevor Noah reads the book himself. So on average, it took him, and I would say it's a good pace, about 33 minutes to read chapter 1 and then 25 to read chapter 2. If you're a fast reader, it might go a lot quicker than that. So it's kind of all about your speed. The other thing I want to let you know before we begin the book is that there is some language in Trevor Noah's novel, but I would say it's not anything that is beyond PG-13, if I could quote it in that terms. You are all freshmen in high school. You're all really going to be soon sophomores in high school. So just know there is a little bit of language throughout his book, but I would never pick something that is just too profane and too explicit or very inappropriate. So just know that you can expect a little bit of that as we read throughout the book. Oops. Okay, so what I want you to do is pause this video, because if you were absent on day 1 of our synchronous days this week, you will need to pause and read chapter 1 on your own, because we're going to cover the entire chapter in class. As you're reading, you can pause and complete the following slides. This is what we would do in class. We would read for a little bit and then pause, respond to these prompts, read, and then pause. So the first prompt after you read is comparing and contrasting the 3 churches that Trevor describes him and his mother attending when he was growing up. So he describes what he calls black church, white church, mixed church. And what I want you to do in this table is to just write out, and you can add more categories if you need to. Write out things that you notice, things that he describes, the qualities of each church. What are they like? And then if there's any similarities they share, I want you to write that in this category. So it's kind of like a Venn diagram, but multiple categories. So go ahead and read the chapter, or at least the first part, pause, complete this portion of the slide, and then keep going. All right, so you're reading a little bit more, and after reading some more, I want you to respond to this prompt. So I want you to write down what you know about Patricia so far, because in chapter 1, Trevor does give a little bit of background information as to her history and what her life has been like. So I want you to write down anything, small or big detail, that we know about Patricia. And then I also want you to describe what is their relationship like as mother and son. How would you describe that based off of what we've read so far? So go ahead and do that. Okay, so at this point, we should be done with chapter 1. Now you are going to look at these 4 words. These are 4 more of our vocabulary words: empathy, apartheid, marginalized, and heritage. One of these, being apartheid, you already have some background knowledge on based off the activity we did last week. So all I want you to do in this slide is write down what we know about these things. How would you describe them or define them? What are they? So go ahead and pause this video and do that in the slides. All right, so that's really it for Synchronous Day 1. Now I'm going to go over with you the specific Canvas assignments. So like I said, chapter 2 is all you. For synchronous, you need to have that read and completed before your next synchronous day next week. So for example, if you are in the Tuesday, Thursday cohort, you need to have read all of chapter 2 by next Tuesday, the 27th, because next Tuesday, the 27th, is when we will be starting chapter 3. So as long as you can keep up on the readings outside of our class time on campus, you should be fine, because otherwise you're going to have some missing parts to the story if you come to class and you haven't read what was assigned to you for asynchronous. So remember to start working on Golden Lines and Patricia's advice. That is found in the Born a Crime module folder. So you can start working on that. And then our honors option assignment, don't start it until after the second synchronous day, because that's when we'll be actually watching the video. But the assignment is to do kind of a follow-up written response to this video. So I'll let you read that, but if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so now we're moving on. Synchronous Day 2, either Wednesday or Friday, either Thursday or Friday. So to start, I have a couple questions that I want you to respond to in the slides. What are your first impressions of Trevor Noah's autobiography? What do you think so far? Give me your honest opinion. Do you like it? Do you find it interesting? Is it kind of strange? Do you not like it? Tell me why. Just give me some first impressions, and then I want you to respond to the second 2. Is there anything that you can relate to so far? Is there anything that you found interesting so far? So pause this video and respond to these questions. All right, so this part won't necessarily work if you're watching this video and you're not in class, but the point is to turn to a person next to you and kind of share. We're reviewing what we wrote down about these things. What is it that we know about these 4 words? Because we're going to be looking at these in the next few weeks. All right, so now we're getting to the TED Talk. This is Chimamanda Adichie. She is a brilliant writer and speaker. She articulates a concept and an idea in this TED Talk that is so profound and really, really important. So her TED Talk is called The Danger of a Single Story. It's about 20 minutes long. So if it's helpful, and you're doing this on your own at home because you missed Synchronous Day 2, watch the first 10 minutes, pause, answer some questions, and then resume the last 10 minutes. So you're going to watch her give a speech, a TED Talk. She's going to talk about some personal experiences she had growing up and how that led her to create this idea of the danger of a single story. So go ahead and do that. All right, so after watching or throughout watching it, these are the questions. These 3 questions are what are on this handout. So the handout, if you're not in person on the day that we do this, if you're not on campus, please don't worry about it, because all you need to do is put whatever you would write down on this piece of paper into the slides. And if you're watching this for some reason, but you were present the day that we did this in class, then you can leave this slide blank because you already did it on the handout. So you're going to look at 3 of these quotes and respond to the question. So the first, she says, so that is how to create a single story. Show a people as one thing, as only one thing, over and over again, and that is what they become. And so you're going to respond to the question, what does a single story mean in your own words? How would you describe it? Her second question or statement, Power is the ability not just to tell the story of another person, but to make it the definitive story of that person. So I want you to think about this quote and answer the question, what does she mean by power specifically? What power is she talking about? And then the third, all of these stories make up who I am, but to insist on only these negative stories is to flatten my experience and to overlook the many other stories that formed me. So I want you to think about your own life, your personal experiences. What are some stories that make up who you are? What are some things that have impacted your life and made you who you are today? So go ahead, pause this video, get those questions answered, and then we'll move forward. All right, we're kind of continuing that last question because this is going to come back around in a few weeks. So I want you to make a list, think about your own life and the person that you are today. And I want you to write a list of people that have impacted you, people who have kind of made you a better person, people that you look up to and that you feel are maybe a role model in your life. I've given 3 spots to write down 3 different names, but if you have more or less, then do what you will because it's your list, but I want you to write down that list. So go ahead, think about that, and respond in the slides. All right, so to wrap up Synchronous Day 2 and Week 2 altogether, we have a First Chapter Friday, and this week we have Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. What does it mean to be a family? So this is what I would call realistic fiction. This is a story about Grace, Maya, and Joaquin. They are siblings that don't meet until they're about all in high school. They don't meet till later in life because they were adopted by different people. Joaquin wasn't adopted. He remained in the foster care system. And they all have very different lives and very different things that they're facing. And they learn after meeting each other and learning that they are related, that they all have the same mom. They kind of learn how to form a family after just meeting not that long ago. So Grace, Maya, and Joaquin are siblings who are unaware of one another's existence until Grace gives up her own child for adoption and feels compelled to seek out her biological family. Maya, Grace's loudmouth younger sister, is quick to search for traces of herself among her bio siblings, but she's not quite sure where it is that she belongs. And Joaquin, their stoic older big bro, never found a family. In Joaquin's life, there are no heroes, and secrets are best kept close to the vest, where they can't hurt anyone but him. Can these strangers conquer their fears, share their hearts, and trust each other enough to become a family? So it's a really great book. I read this over the summer. It's one of my new favorites. And if you click on the link up here, you can go to the first chapter and read it if you would like to read the first chapter. So that is all I have for week 2. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I hope to see you again on campus soon.